Story 1. To just enjoy being alive every day and enjoy doing whatever I do that day most days. I had a rough childhood. After years of therapy, a loving and supportive girlfriend for the last 2 years, and putting my ego aside to try medication that could help me with my struggles, I'm finally at a place where I feel like I'm at or almost at that goal. Put your ego aside. Get help. I wish I had done it sooner. The last thing you want is to go your whole life miserable when you didn't have to be. Story 2. To make enough money so that I can go on vacation whenever I want to and be able to afford any flights getting there without having to check my account balance. Story 3. To achieve freedom with respect to having to bow to any authority. Specifically, I mean having enough financial resources to never need to be subject to a boss of any kind again. Story 4. To own my own home, built to my specifications, on a few acres out in the rural country somewhere. I plan to live in that home of mine until the day I die. Story 5. To die like my grandfather. He died in his home at the age of 89. He always had heart problems, so it's amazing he reached that age. He slowly took his last breath as he held my grandma's hand, with all of his children and grandchildren weeping as he slowly passed. I was 11 at the time, but now I realize how lucky I would be if I'm able to pass just like him. It's painful but peaceful. Not bad for a World War II veteran who made and sold ice cream to provide for his family. Now his grandchildren are engineers, accountants, pharmacists, and soldiers. I love you, Grandpa. Story 6. A place I own, lots of fur babies, my dream job in a great community and hospital network, and a partner who is kind, supportive, and loyal. I have lived a lifetime of abuse and trauma, seeking kindness, abundance, and peace. Story 7. Personally, I'm fine already. I have just enough for groceries, rent, power, and a big fat old dog. My kids are all adults and thriving, and I have nothing I feel I need to chase after. Story 8. Honestly, I really want to buy myself a bass clarinet before I die. They are really expensive, and it is going to take me a long time to save, but when I was in elementary school through middle school and my first year of high school, I was really good at playing. I was first chair every year, went to solo and ensemble competitions and won a couple of times, participated in my school's advanced jazz band, and so on. I loved playing, and I feel like it was the only thing I was truly naturally good at. But by the time I got to sophomore year, my 15-year-old self thought it was not cool to be in band anymore. So I quit and gave my rental clarinet back. Since I have graduated, I regretted putting it down, and I am slowly saving to buy my own back. I miss being that good at something, but I will be playing soon enough. Story 9. Finding balance in life is my end goal. I want to enjoy the little things, have financial freedom, and create lasting memories with loved ones. It's all about cherishing moments while not being tied down by stress or obligations. Story 10. To ensure that the generational trauma ends with me, and my daughter can live knowing there was nothing but love from her family. I want to do my very best to make sure she doesn't need to struggle. Story 11. To find some kind of purpose in it. Something that gives me the feeling of it all being worth it. Right now, I'm not quite feeling it. Feels very much pointless and low stakes. Story 12. To find meaning and justification for the terrible times that will likely come, and infinitely cherish every precious moment of life that isn't horrible. Story 13. I want to make sure my daughter is in a good place and does not have to go through the hardships I went through. That is why I am going back and finishing up my degree to land better jobs. My education has been the only thing holding me back. Story 14. I was with my grandfather when he died at 92, in his home, next to his wife of 68 years, surrounded by friends and family. After living through World War II, starting a family, emigrating to the United States with an aerospace engineering degree, and retiring at a house on a lake. So basically, my lofty goal is to overdose in a Toyota outside of a Circle K. Story 15. To be able to retire with enough healthy life left to enjoy it. To be able to reflect back on my existence and say that I had a positive impact on the world around me. Story 16. In my high school graduation book, I wrote, sitting in a rocking chair, telling my grandchildren about my adventures. I'm still amazed how this captivates both my main motivations. Experiencing life to the fullest and fostering connections, preferably by starting my own family. Story 17. I want 2 kids with good lives, made while I had 2 chickens at the same time, who the dogs got excited to see. All this while getting my Doctor of Philosophy in couch potato studies and then just die. Story 18. Own, repair, and maintain my toys and give my family a good life. That gives me more purpose and happiness than most things. Far more than my career, even which does look very rewarding on paper. Story 19. Some of my nephews and nieces never really knew their fathers. I just want to make sure they know I never gave up on or abandoned them when they were at their worst and always believed they could do better and be better than their fathers are. To know I was able to have a positive influence on them so they could say when I pass away that uncle never got married and had his own children, but he was a good man. Story 20. To one day build my own off-grid cabin exactly how I wanted on a few acres out in the country, but not so far out in the country that I can't drive into town whenever I need to, and to sit on the porch swing with my dog or cat and a beer and watch the sunset every chance I get. I'm beyond tired of the rat race and stupid people. Story 21. To see my girls succeed and live a happy full life with enough money to live comfortably but not extravagantly. And for me, I can die as soon as I get my inheritance, so it goes to my girls, not my siblings. I will end it shortly after that. Story 22. To live because I survived the following: heart attack, cancer, heart failure, and died twice during surgery, brought back. Blood cell autoimmune disease. Cells are not normal and do not work like they are supposed to. Autoimmune disease with no name. Story 23. I believe that the ultimate goal in life is to be happy, or you can say everything we do, from watching a movie to having a relationship, is aimed at finding satisfaction and contentment. While some people might argue that happiness isn't the sole purpose of life, I think it's a fundamental human desire. Some philosophical and psychological perspectives support this view. 1. Hedonism. This philosophy emphasizes the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain as the highest good. Humanistic psychology. This approach emphasizes the inherent goodness of human beings and their potential for growth and self-actualization. Story 24. My parents did not raise me. Their parents had all kinds of issues as well. I want to break the cycle. I want to find a good wife and raise a bunch of kids without either of us running out on them. Story 25. Well, I try to bring positivity to the lives of people around me. So if at the end of my life, I have made a big enough difference to contribute to someone's happiness, I will consider that I reached my goal. Story 26. I want to get married and have a child or two. I'm 44 years old and financially stable. My girlfriend insists she wants to get married and have children, but every time I bring it up, the conversation doesn't go anywhere. It has been a few years now. I don't really know what to do anymore. Either I wait for her to come around or break up and try to find someone else. If I leave and try again, it might take forever or not even happen. If I stay here, it might also take forever or not even happen. Story 27. A world safe for my daughter. She's only 7. As a father, there's nothing more I want than for her to have the same opportunities I've been afforded. Story 28. Live a long and healthy life, retire without the stress of money, watch my children do better than us, feed my grandchildren ice cream just before bed to annoy my children who were not allowed ice cream before bed. Story 29. My end goal is to have shared, and continue to share, all my breathing life with a partner who loves me just as unconditionally as I do them and be together until the very end. Not alone. Story 30. Perfection is the thief of joy. I am from a middle-class family. I have accepted the fact that nobody will remember me in history. I won't have a yacht or $1 million in my bank. This gives me tremendous relief and happiness. I just want my family to do better than last year. That's all. Story 31. 13 years into a diagnosis of chronic pain syndrome, which my pain management specialists rate as worse than childbirth. My end goal would be not repeatedly being in torturous pain every single day. I recall when I took being pain-free as a given and took advantage of that, and I missed that so much. Story 32. To feel rested. I live in a state that says you can have a barking dog, you can smoke cigarettes, you can grow cannabis, you can beat up your spouse, and as long as they don't catch it from the parking lot, you're good. It's extra hard being poor, exhausted, and smelling bad because of others. Story 33. To help ensure my wife is happy and cared for, I plan to outlive her by about a month to make sure the cats are taken care of, then join her. We have no kids or plans to have any. Story 34. To retire early by limiting my overall consumption and greed, living within my means. Life is too short to work it all away. I'm definitely not perfect at it, but other than having a child, my overall expenses have stayed in line with inflation or below. Story 35. To me, having a goal in life requires that, to a certain extent, you view life as one big narrative pointing towards a single conclusion. Of course, the conclusion of any given life will always be death, but I don't see life as a single story or narrative, and in that regard, I don't think that life has a meaning in the same sense that a book or a movie has a meaning. So my goal is more along the lines of me being as happy with myself and my life as I can be while I live that life. But to me, that also means spreading as much joy and happiness to other people as I possibly can. Because giving or bringing happiness gives me more happiness too. Story 36. I've never truly felt love in my life that is not out of obligation like family. So my end goal is to find my happily ever after. Cynic on the outside, hopeless romantic on the inside. Story 37. Having lazy mornings with good quality coffee. Work out regularly. Travel without much financial stress. Make my child capable of becoming independent and give them the luxury of choosing a profession that they love, even if it pays below average. Story 38. My goals changed a lot after I had kids. They are disabled and they will need support for life. Really, it is about getting them into a good living situation with good caregivers, where they have friends, recreation they enjoy, and some kind of productive work to do or volunteering. If I can get them to that point, everything after is just a victory lap in life. Story 39. I have no children to inherit my fortune. My financial advisor casually remarked that my income will continue to increase now that I am retired, so I imagine that I should be okay. One less thing to worry about. So my most pressing goal is to find a gold digger who can keep me happy in my older years in exchange for a large net worth that should set her up for life but will probably be consumed very quickly. Story 40. Inner peace now. I've clawed my life back from addiction. My family is around me, and I have a job I love. I don't have a significant other, but that's just a bonus. The final frontier for me is inner peace and, as Maslow put it, self-actualization. I can get caught up in negativity sometimes, but I really am blessed. Story 41. I want to leave a legacy of love. I just want people to know that I love them beyond a shadow of a doubt. I try to be a safe space for people to be their true, authentic selves. I want people to see themselves through my eyes so they can see how wonderful and beautiful they are. Story 42. To be completely unhinged and hold nothing back, the good and the bad. Hopefully, the bad settles down by the time I have the resources to successfully implement. For now, I'll pretend. Good day to you, lads. Tally ho. Story 43. Curating and maintaining a beautiful family, successful businesses, and meaningful relationships. I intend to be the first of my name to plant a flag internationally and develop all of these things elsewhere alone. Story 44. To be honest, I didn't think I'd live as long as I have. I have virtually no concept of or grasp on time, so planning or looking to my future has always been difficult. That whole, where do you see yourself in 5 years question has always haunted me, because I can barely even plan what I'll do the next week, let alone the next 5 years. And here you are asking what my end goal in life is. My focus for now is understanding and getting to know myself. I don't remember a lot of my childhood, and what I do remember wasn't that great, so I don't have much of an identity as an adult now. Navigating life is quite difficult when you don't know where you came from and don't know which direction to head. My goal for now is healing from my past and taking it one day at a time. I'm trying to be more present each day and enjoy things as they are. I have no idea where this will lead, and that not knowing scares me, but I do my best not to focus on that. I'm hoping if I focus on positive change, positive things will come, but it is slow going right now. Story 45. To put the fear of God into Satan himself and leave an echoing spirit filled with hope for mankind in the coming kingdom of a new world without tyranny, selfishness, or pride. Story 46. To be happy and not overanalyze every single little detail, because half the people I come across do not or cannot think that in depth in the first place. Maybe then I will be calmed. Story 47. Hello, I am a very desperate student for international media and entertainment business, and I have an assignment where we have to revive a product or intellectual property from before the year 2000. My group chose the Spice Girls. We are specifically targeting millennials in Belgium, but feel free to fill it in if you're from another country as well. This is a purely hypothetical revival, but we would appreciate it if you could fill in this survey. It shouldn't take longer than 10 minutes. Thank you very much for your time. Story 48. I want to be able to exist, to wake up every day for a week and not have to worry about money or losing my apartment or losing everything I have. I want stability. Story 49. Do not have one. This is not a video game. There is no grand thing to achieve to win. I just live, suffer, have fun, do stuff, maybe some happiness sprinkled in if I am lucky, and at some random point, death. Story 50. Becoming a free journalist means that I can take nature pictures and travel to meet fantastic landscapes. I can talk with people from different cultures and find and feel the humanity in the city.